Have you ever wondered what truly defines wealth? Is it the glittering pile of gold, the vast lands, the abundant possessions? Or is it something far more profound, an inner state that transcends material accumulation? What if the very pursuit of limitless riches leads only to an insatiable hunger, leaving even the wealthiest soul perpetually impoverished? And what if true abundance blossoms not from taking, but from the quiet generosity of a humble heart? Today, we journey into a powerful Buddhist parable that challenges our deepest assumptions about prosperity, poverty, and the true source of contentment. We'll witness a humble man whose kindness unlocks hidden treasures, and a wealthy man whose insatiable greed leads to his tragic downfall. This isn't just a story about ancient wisdom, it's a direct, transformative guide for anyone grappling with the allure of materialism, seeking genuine fulfillment, and yearning to understand the paradoxical nature of true riches. Prepare to discover why generosity, not accumulation, is the ultimate key to boundless wealth. Chapter 1. The Humble Woodcutter and the Silent Giver. A long time ago, nestled at the foot of a majestic mountain, two families lived, one poor, the other rich. At the mountain's summit, a vast, dense forest stretched, providing sustenance and resources for those brave enough to venture within. Every day, the head of the poor family, a hard-working and honest man, would make the arduous journey up the mountain, into the forest. His purpose was simple and vital: to gather wood to sell, earning just enough to provide food and clothing for his family. It was a life of persistent effort, marked by scarcity, but also by a quiet dignity. Deep within the forest, there lay a peculiar sight: a large rock lion, an ancient, silent statue of a lion carved from stone. Unlike other villagers who might have ignored it, or perhaps feared it, the poor man, in his innate goodness and humble spirit, developed a unique ritual. Every day, without fail, he would approach the rock lion with a small offering. He would meticulously place some barley meal and a dollop of butter into the lion's mouth. A simple act of spontaneous generosity. And with genuine reverence, he would say, "Please eat this, brother lion." He sought no reward, no blessing, simply offering what little he had, out of pure compassion, recognizing the lion's, or perhaps the spirit within the lion, lack of sustenance. The days turned into weeks, then months, marked by the poor man's consistent, unexpected kindness towards the silent stone beast. Buddhist insight. This opening establishes the stark contrast between material wealth and inner richness. The poor man, despite his poverty, embodies qualities of dana, generosity, and metta, loving kindness, by consistently offering food to the rock lion without expectation. His act of spontaneous, unconditional giving sets a positive karmic seed. The rock lion, initially a passive receiver, hints at a deeper, symbolic meaning related to the ripening of karma. The scene introduces the theme of genuine virtue versus perceived lack, laying the groundwork for the moral of the story. Chapter 2. The Lion's Voice, a reward for pure generosity. The days went by, the seasons slowly turning, the poor man's humble ritual continuing without interruption. One day, as the poor man performed his customary act, diligently feeding the rock lion, something truly extraordinary happened. The ancient stone lion, which had always been silent, suddenly spoke. "Thank you, friend." The lion's voice rumbled, deep and resonant, echoing through the quiet forest. "You are a good man." The poor man, utterly frightened and astonished by this miraculous event, stammered, "Brother lion, you don't have a master to feed you, so I gave you some food. I don't have any good food because I am poor, and what I give is simple." The lion, hearing his humility, replied, "You are an honest man, my friend, and your kindness is pure. Tomorrow morning, before the sunrise, come here, and I will give you something truly precious." The man, still bewildered by the talking lion, but touched by its promise, took his firewood and returned home, his mind pondering the day's incredible events. The next morning, filled with a mixture of apprehension and anticipation, he returned to the lion. "Listen," the lion said, its voice gentle but firm. "There is much gold in my stomach. You may take some, but heed my warning. When the sun rises, you must take your hand out of my stomach, because at that very moment, my mouth will close, and it will not open again until the next day." "Yes, I understand," the man replied, his eyes wide with wonder. He cautiously put his hand into the lion's stomach. Inside, he felt countless gold coins. He began to fill his small bag, the one he used for his meager provisions. Soon, the small bag was filled to the brim with glittering gold. The first rays of the sun began to pierce through the dense canopy of the trees, signaling the approaching sunrise. The man looked at his bag, then at the sky. "This is enough for me," he said, his voice filled with genuine contentment, not a trace of greed. "Thank you, noble lion." He removed his hand just as the sun broke over the horizon, and the lion's mouth clamped shut. The man, now unexpectedly rich, returned home, his heart filled with gratitude and a quiet joy. Buddhist insight. This chapter illustrates the principle of karma, action and its result, the poor man's pure dana, generosity, and metta, loving kindness, are now ripening into wholesome material wealth. The talking lion represents the manifestation of positive karmic results. It is not simply a magical creature but a symbol of the universe reflecting back the man's goodness. His santuti, contentment, with a small bag of gold, rather than wanting more, highlights his freedom from tanha, craving, which is crucial for genuine happiness. His obedience to the lion's warning, "When the sun rises you must take your hand out," signifies right action, samma kamanta, and right mindfulness, samma sati, leading to a positive outcome. Chapter 3. The rich man's greed, the blindness of insatiable desire. The poor man was now rich, his life transformed by unexpected abundance. He built a comfortable home, provided well for his family, and continued to live virtuously. His sudden prosperity, however, did not go unnoticed. His rich neighbor, a man already possessing vast wealth but driven by an insatiable hunger for more, became deeply jealous. He approached the honest man, his voice tinged with envy, and demanded, "How did you become so rich so quickly?" The honest man, simple and open-hearted, told him the entire story about the rock lion, his daily offerings, and the lion's incredible gift of gold. The rich man's eyes gleamed with avarice. He saw not a lesson in generosity, but a quick path to even greater fortune. The rich man, cunning and calculating, immediately put on old clothes, mimicking the poor man's humble attire. Hoping to fool the lion, he went to the forest and every day, he meticulously did exactly as the poor man had described. He fed the lion barley meal and butter, and even pretended to fetch firewood. He performed the actions of generosity, but his heart was filled with pure greed, not genuine compassion. One day, the lion repeated what he had told the poor man. "Listen, there is much gold in my stomach. You may take some, but when the sun rises, you must take your hand out of my stomach, because at that time my mouth will close." The rich man was ecstatic, believing his cunning plan had worked perfectly. He came the next day, not with a small bag, but with a massive sack. Anticipating limitless wealth, he eagerly took much gold from the lion's stomach, his hands frantically stuffing the coins into his enormous bag. The sun began its ascent, its golden rays piercing through the trees, signaling the dawn, but the greedy man, consumed by his insatiable desire, still did not have enough. His hand remained deep inside the lion's stomach, grasping for more, utterly heedless of the lion's warning, utterly oblivious to the subtle signs of the rising sun. And then, with a deafening clamp, the lion's mouth snapped shut on his arm, trapping him. It did not open again. Buddhist insight. This tragic chapter powerfully illustrates the destructive nature of tanha, craving, greed. The rich man, despite his existing wealth, suffers from dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, fueled by his insatiable desire for more. He imitates the action of generosity but lacks the pure intention, satana, which is paramount in karma. His avidya, ignorance, blinds him to the true nature of the lion's gift, which is based on wholesome intention, and to the universal law of karma. His attachment to the gold overrides the lion's warning, directly leading to his suffering. This contrast between the two men highlights the principle that true wealth is an internal state, contentment, not an external accumulation. His fate is a direct result of his unwholesome karma. Conclusion. The paradox of wealth, inner riches versus outer accumulation. You see, in your life, the truth is laid bare. No matter how much material wealth you accumulate, no matter how rich you become in worldly possessions, If your heart is consumed by greed, tanha, you will paradoxically never have enough. Your inner state will remain one of perpetual lack. And so, in a profound spiritual sense, you will always be poor. Your dissatisfaction will be boundless. Your suffering unending. But conversely, if you are materially poor, yet your heart is filled with generosity, dana, if you are a truly good person, kind and compassionate, you will always be rich. Your inner wealth, your contentment, your boundless joy, will far surpass any external accumulation. For true happiness resides within, independent of external circumstances. This timeless parable, illuminated by the Buddha's profound wisdom, offers us a radical redefinition of prosperity and poverty. It urges us to look beyond the glittering illusions of the material world and to cultivate the true riches of the spirit. Key learnings for your personal Buddha story. Greed, tanha, is the root of poverty. Material wealth does not guarantee contentment. Insatiable desire, the endless craving for more, creates a spiritual poverty, regardless of how much one possesses. Application. Practice mindful awareness of your desires. When you find yourself wanting more, pause and examine if that desire is leading to dissatisfaction. Cultivate santuti, contentment, with what you have. Generosity, dana, is the key to true wealth. The poor man's willingness to give, even from his scarcity, opened the door to abundance. This isn't just about charity, it's about a fundamental orientation of the heart. Application. Engage in acts of genuine generosity daily. Whether it's giving time, attention, a kind word, or material possessions, practice giving without expectation of return. This cultivates joy and a sense of abundance. Karma. The law of reflection. The universe is an impartial mirror reflecting your actions and intentions. The poor man's pure intention brought gold, the rich man's greed brought suffering. What you sow, you reap. Application. Be mindful of your intentions. Every action, word, and thought has a karmic consequence. Choose to act from metta, loving kindness, and karuna, compassion. Planting seeds of wholesome karma for a positive future. Contentment, santuti, over accumulation. The poor man found enough with a small bag of gold, while the rich man, with a large bag, still wanted more. True richness is an inner state of satisfaction, not an external quantity. Application. Regularly reflect on your blessings. Practice gratitude. Appreciate what is present in your life rather than constantly focusing on what you lack. This shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. The illusions of the outer world. Those who hide behind wealth and power, believing they offer security and happiness, will ultimately find neither. True happiness is an internal journey, not an external acquisition. Application. Don't equate your worth or happiness with your material possessions or social status. Look within. Cultivate inner peace, wisdom, and compassion. These are the true, unshakable treasures. The Buddha's profound wisdom, beautifully illuminated by this parable, invites us to embark on a transformative journey, from chasing the illusions of outer wealth to discovering the boundless, unshakable riches of an open, generous, and contented heart. This is the essence of your authentic Buddha story. Thank you for watching, and may you always carry the profound peace and illuminating wisdom of these stories within your heart. Join our growing community by liking this video and subscribing to Buddha Story, where ancient wisdom beautifully meets modern mindfulness. What is one small act of generosity you will commit today to cultivate your own inner riches? Share your reflections and experiences in the comments below. Until our next encounter, may your path be filled with profound peace, deep understanding, and the radiant light of your own awakening.